guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today
We're your host, Leah, because
Hang
Michelle's
on.
leaving
Wait a
you
minute.
because she doesn't love you anymore.
That's not true. I have a bee emergency, so my friend is coming over to bring me a queen bee, and this is my bee outfit. This is just exercise type stuff. So anyway, you're gonna go down under, talk about the elections.
Yes, and
It's
you're
really
gonna
exciting.
be here for. I'm saying that. See if you can come back with your, because only Michelle is. We try to do accents every once in a while. Michelle's got a great Australian. Hey, I can't do it. I'm not even gonna try, mate.
No, you always start out with "G'day, mate."
I know,
and just go from there.
G'day, mate.
Go from there. You got it?
I'll try.
Okay.
Okay.
That was really bad. That was a kick. Okay, so, all right, you guys. So I'm gonna head out of here. Leah, you are started. I'm actually gonna share you on Twitter really quickly.
Share me on Twitter.
Gonna share you on Twitter. No.
Twitter.
Really, it's really, really exciting.
Well, yeah, I'm actually kind of disappointed Michelle's got to go because I have like so many big stories to.
It's gonna rain, so we had to push the timing up.
Yeah, so Tommy Robinson was attacked by I didn't know the Muslim Defense League, the MDL. I didn't know there was. I knew about it, but I didn't know like they were like a thing.
Interesting.
But they're not a hate group. They're throwing rocks, glass at people. Glass.
Wow.
I threw glass at people.
I'm sorry. I just got
the police
excited.
Were like, we can't get involved. And Burger King. Did you hear about this? Burger King Scotland. Farage was so somebody threw a milkshake in Tommy Robinson's face. Do you remember that? Well, so the police asked McDonald's to not sell milkshakes. So Burger King says we're still selling milkshakes.
You're still selling milkshakes.
No,
you can't
stop. Wait. In an illusion that you could buy milkshakes and throw them in Nigel Farage's face.
Oh no,
it's really bad.
Okay, so McDonald's stopped selling milkshakes.
Yeah,
and just obviously in the UK,
right? But it was based on hate, and it was really bad.
That is really bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're ready to go. Your chat is up. You have this window right here. Later, I want to show them about Jace's up and coming YouTube thingy. So that's there.
Channel.
This is here, and you're logged in. And I'm going to
today a milkshake, tomorrow a brick. Corporate-backed political violence is here. She's leaving me. So we're never going to eat at Burger King. I don't actually eat out myself. Yo, yo, yo. Hello, everyone. I will try to stay on the chat. Worth a look is here. May is here. Wallace. Every time I see a last name Wallace, I say, hey, William Wallace. Braveheart. Well, he was a Braveheart person. All right, so let's start out with this craziness going on. How many of you heard about this Burger King debacle on Twitter? So do you guys remember when Tommy Robinson had two milkshakes thrown at him? Totally, am I in it? Ready? Wait for it. Oh my gosh!
That's what you get for being a fascist!
1 o'clock turn now, pal.
Is it? Yeah.
Quick, isn't it, today?
Yeah, it's going quick.
It's been really quick.
Here we go.
Whoa.
Bam!
Whoa.
All the way. Right at him. You know what?
Whoa. No beds. No beds.
All right. So, there is somewhat of a history of campaigners taking food, eggs, and stuff on the campaign trail. So it's a thing, but this is what, can you guys see this? Burger King. Dear people of Scotland, we're selling milkshakes all weekend. Have fun. Love Burger King. # just saying. Now, this is due to McDonald's having a sign that says, we will not be selling milkshakes or ice creams tonight. This is due to a police request given certain events. You would think that Burger King would be like, okay, police requested McDonald's not to. Maybe we shouldn't, okay? Well, originally, the people on the left tried to defend the comment as Burger King just being good capitalists and allowing customers to buy milkshakes from them rather than McDonald's, but over a series of likes and retweets on Twitter, the fast food giant revealed it was in fact making references to the visit of Nigel Farage. In other words, a corporate social media account is now engaging its followers to assault Albat with lactose products political figures. That'd be sort of fine if that's weird. And it is not really sort of fine anyway. But it won't end there. The authorities know it. Conservatives and nationalists have been remarkably mild-mannered over the last few years, considering what physical, rhetorical violence is being done to them routinely. Tommy. He was just in, I don't know the name. Where was he, guys? Where was Tommy? But anyways, I have all the videos up y'all sent me. Everybody, I'm watching them. I know it's rocks, glass being thrown at kids from the Muslim Defense League, the MDL. And you know what? Why is it that I feel like I need to self-censor even saying that? But you can say EDL with like and spit. Because supposedly the EDL is like fascist, awful, white supremacist. Which there are some in there. But you might be mad too and go down the wrong path if other people were throwing rocks and glass at you. I'm just saying. All right. We do not condone any violence of any kind whatsoever, even milkshakes or eggs in people's faces. All right. So here we go. So Burger King Scotland started to retweet like Antifa. Like, what is up with that? This is going to lead to more violence and more fights. Us not being a snowflake. Let's see. All right, so they did put this in their article. This cowardly MDL throwing bricks indiscriminately at Tommy Robinson supporters and children. Those are rocks. Big rocks. It's on video. Will the police arrest any of them?
Yo, chill out, man.
Will anyone condone this violence? Did y'all see this police chick just standing there? She's like ducking while they throw rocks over her head. She's watching where they drop. What a useless coward.
Yo, guys, no fighting, just keep in the line, man. Let them do what they want. Let it stop. Let it stop. Let it stop.
A little bit of irony here. Calling somebody a scumbag while you're hurling rocks at them. Pretty scummy. Pretty much want all Tommy Robinson supporters to be locked up in their houses. What is this? It sounds like a Nazi. What if they said... No, I'm not even going to go down that road, but you know. You know. So this is the Burger King debacle. You know, it was, and it wasn't even, at first I thought it was because Tommy was visiting, but it wasn't. It's because Nigel was visiting. Raheem Kassim says, for those who don't get the reference, hard left activists and Islamist sympathizers have been throwing milkshakes at political candidates during this election cycle. Burger King appears to be endorsing that. Let's see. And here's the tweet, which it's still up. I don't even know. It says, oh, we'd never endorse violence or wasting our delicious milkshakes, so enjoy the weekend and please drink responsibly. Yeah. I think that if you guys are I think that you guys everybody needs to like boycott Burger King.
You're live on Facebook but not YouTube?
What?
You're live on Facebook but not YouTube?
Mom, I am live on YouTube because these people are talking.
Okay, well I'm not getting it anymore.
Mom, we're on Mass Faith 3.
Oh, when did you get back there?
We're back! We're on Mass Faith 3! We're on Mass Faith 3! Hello! We had our copyright strike taken down! Because we don't cheat. How about that? Y'all are here. I didn't even say that when you first got here. Hello, welcome back to Mass Faith 3. If you missed us on our Friday show, we were on Resistance Chicks because some crazy idiot went back to one of our shows like a while back and decided to make a copyright claim against it and took down our channel from live streaming. So we wrote the person and we wrote YouTube and said, hey, sue me. That's what you have to do if you have a copyright, because it's a fair use. You have a right to play certain videos and make them transformative. All right, back to Tommy. And Mom's going to poor Patriot Gallery's missed us all this time. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Mom. All right, so I don't know what this chick is. Her name is Jessica. Oh, yeah, I do. She's from the Rebel. Duh. She's a new Rebel supporter. She was there with Tommy's trial. Shoev Tonwowski. I think she's probably Polish. So I'm going to play her video. She was there. Oldham. That's where they were. Oldham. So I wasn't, if you were. So here's Jessica. She's from off the streets. Check out the guy. You know what? When we say, if there was somebody there with an Israeli flag, that would be a thing. They got a guy with the Palestinian colors on here. Covering up their faces. A guy was arrested for covering up his, or fined for covering up his face, passing a camera. When Antifa and the Muslim Defense League get together, you're going to have violence. I almost think Antifa's worse in some regards.
I'm Justin Wisniewski with the Rebel. Here in the UK, Tommy Robinson's campaign has moved to Oldham, which is a heavily Muslim-populated area. The protesters are behind us. Police did have to push them back. They started with throwing eggs, and now they're actually going into the bins, and going into the trash bins, picking up bottles and throwing it to the sides. The protesters came, probably around 100 of them. They started on one side, police did block them, and they actually came around the street to another corner, all running towards the rally, throwing eggs, throwing bottles that they're finding in bins lying around.
This reminds me of what they do in Palestine. They throw rockets and things into Israel, like to burn tires, smoke fires, things like that. This is not acceptable in polite society. If you disagree with someone, you don't get to become violent.
In front of the houses. I even saw them throw some bricks at Tommy Robinson's crowd.
And these guys are hurling a song. Yeah. These guys want war with you. The other guys just want Brexit.
And what's crazy is that I don't see any media here. I don't see anyone covering this. You're not going to see this. You're not going to hear about this, about the aggression from it's definitely over 100 Muslim people pushing, trying to get to this side, throwing bricks, throwing glass bottles at women and children that are here for a political campaign rally. Looking around, there's women in distress, there's women crying that were chased out of their cars when they saw them come in. All of this because Tommy Robinson was holding a political campaign rally. I've been on the campaign with them since this Tuesday, and before that they had no problem with this. There were protesters at some of the events, there were some civil protesters, but nothing like this. This is what happens when Tommy Robinson steps into Oldham. So we just got news that actually somebody got stabbed. I don't have much information. I don't know what side escalated the situation, but I am walking.
Let's see. The NDL and Facebook and the corrupt British police all have innocent blood on their hands, as someone also got stabbed during this protest that she just spoke about. Next part of YouTube censorship, they will burn ebooks. There you go. The same will happen in Germany, latest by fall. I saw a dude in the orange vest that said legal observer. Wasn't sure. That's kind of weird. Civil war is now breaking out in the streets. A legal observer is a person who makes sure the cops behave. Is supposed to be independent from the cops. Interesting. Nazis were socialists. Tommy was a liberal, not far left enough to be subversive, like Antifa. They are the pot calling the kettle black. Yeah, so... Anyone ever notice how all the trouble in London started when Corbyn and his two proven anti-white racist cohorts took power? Adeline says, I watched the video live yesterday. It was horrible. They were throwing bricks and a kid got stabbed. Antifa in Great Britain looks different than in the U.S. UK, you're not allowing privileged student activists enough power to distract from politicians.
Towards the crowd.
Step back, kid.
A kid? It sounds like a child has actually been stabbed. Police are trying to de-escalate the situation. Riot police.
Yeah, well, they're not making any arrests of those rock throwers now, were they, anytime soon? Which is obviously would have been pretty helpful, huh? All right, we're going to cover this during the elections, but here is Tommy in his own words.
Has anyone else got kids here? Get in the door.
Before I've entered any city on my election campaign, the local Labour MPs, supported by the establishment's media, run hit pieces and smear pieces against me, labelling me, talking about not wanting hate or division or racism. With zero evidence against those accusations, zero evidence at all, they whip up people ready to attack me. On Saturday, I visited a working class estate in Oldham. Just like for the last 3 weeks, I've travelled the northwest visiting different working class estates. Each one of my events have been peaceful family events where people have brought their children, so an opportunity for me to speak to my future constituents. The difference for Oldham was for the past week, a Muslim organisation on Facebook has literally been inciting attacks against me and organising and planning attacks against me in Oldham, telling people to come
on stinking Facebook. But Alex Jones is gone and Tommy's off, but you're allowed to organize hate groups against Tommy on Facebook.
Throw milkshakes at me. Not just milkshakes, anything they
whatever
want.
else
So
you would
before
like
getting
to
my
chuck
political
on him.
rally, I decided to take a walk through Oldham Town Centre. I had some interesting debates with members of the public.
I'm from Afghanistan. I appreciate what you do for your people. And I like what you do
I'm from Afghanistan and I appreciate what you do for your people.
for your people.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah?
Thank you.
I know some people are doing bullshit in this country. They shouldn't do that.
Yeah,
You
fair
know what
play.
I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, bro.
We come to this country, we should respect their law, we should respect their traditions, and we should respect their culture.
Thank you, bro.
Innit?
Fair play. Hey, respect, man.
See, and that's what we see on the, and I hate to say right and left, but that's, for lack of better terms, people call people on the right racist or whatever because we might call out Diane Abbott. Well, she happens to be black, but she also happens to be a nincompoop and totally retarded and really bad at math. Okay? And it has nothing to do with her being black. But she happens to be black, so she's like, race card, right? Same thing happened. Somebody, Ilhan Omar. So radical. She wants the dissolution of the state of Israel, pretty much. She wants to abolish ICE. She wants to abolish our constitution. She wants to impeach our president. And people are saying this is so racist and it's anti-Muslim. No, because this guy right here is from Afghanistan. He's Arab. And Tommy said, thank you, brother. Because what the people on the right, and most of us, some you may not be that way, but like the greatest sentiment that I see from the people on the right, when somebody who is Arabic or Asian or black comes and we meet each other ideologically, then we find that we are brothers and sisters and we enjoy it and it feels good to make that connection because ideologically we align. And so it has nothing to do with color. It's ideological and it's cultural.
Respect, bro. Good man. Respect, bro. Little did I know that loads of masked thugs were on their way to attack my family-friendly event. The biggest shock from what happened on Saturday, what you're going to witness, is that hundreds of Muslims wearing balaclavas, intent on violence, were marched and escorted for miles by Greater Manchester Police. They were marched to our campaign event. Our campaign event, miles away from any Muslim community. They were marched there intent on violence, and they come armed with bricks, and they attacked a family event with women and children present.
He even live streamed his own thing. Police are escorting them.
Guys, make sure you go and show some support to the locals, yeah? Go and join the Muslim Defense League page if you're on YouTube.
You know, if the police treated the English Defense League or Britain First, it's like you're crying on Twitter. Let's see.
Is there a police escort waiting for that car? Get the kids out of there and take them on the escort. Hey, if anyone else get kids here? Alright,
Let's see, what I miss? I haven't watched all.
Get your kid. If they come through there, I'll tell you what you want to do. If you want to get anyone out there, get that girl and the kids and take the kids out of here. Take the kids out of here. Come on, man. Back off. Take these kids. Is there a police escort waiting? Is there a police escort waiting for that car? Get the kids out of there and take them on the escort. Hey, if anyone else get kids here? Alright, well, there's a police escort waiting for me to move this. You go in the police escort, he'll take you wherever. Just park up somewhere in the pub and we'll come and meet you, yeah? Right. Officer! Where's the police escort? They're waiting for you there, go on.
His political correctness can't even bring him to admit it's gangs of Muslim youths that are attacking the police.
So they're shutting down our election campaign. Welcome to Oldham. This is what happens when you try and have a political opinion where you dare to talk about the problems. This is what meets you. But we chose specifically not to go near an area where this could happen. That's why we come here. We come here for the safety of our own supporters. My main concern here is that our supporters have come out for a political rally and lots of them are getting hurt. This is the first town we've come to with a large Muslim population, and look at the scenes. Look at the scenes.
Whoever decided that it was a really good idea to walk these Muslims miles up the street should be fired. All of them fired. But I don't see the mainstream media calling out the gang members here. Worth a Look says, our old police forces would have sorted these out. Bet they would be ashamed how it's turned out. I hope he does win. Britt Baza says, I really do too. I do too. I'm trying to picture myself at a political rally with that kind of vehement, like I've been at pro-life rallies. They have gotten violent, but not incredibly violent. Not like that. Not like a gang of young men intent on throwing rocks and bricks. So, yeah, it's just You brought them all down. Why would you bring people who are masked up? There's children down there.
Here we go, peaceful Muslims. Peaceful Muslims.
Well, there goes another rock.
Get them all on camera.
Police are ducking.
Muslim organisations have been inciting violence day in.
You know, it's pretty crazy when the police are ducking and they feel safer on the Tommy side, even though they don't like him.
Day out for today.
The police feel safer on Tommy's side. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you this one.
Of actually what was happening there. This is a local resident being targeted by gangs like a pack of animals, violently beating him just because he was attending a political rally in his own estate. Men from out of town have come to attack him, and look how the media reporting it.
If this was Tommy supporters against a Muslim guy in a Muslim community, you would see this on a loop 24/7 on the BBC.
And the Manchester Evening News. Objects thrown and police vehicles smashed as violent erupts
At Tommy Robinson rally, not Muslims. I can't read. I will get too upset. I can't read the mainstream
Look at
media
the
live.
BBC headline.
I can't, Tommy. It's too. I have a blood
The
pressure.
campaign in Oldham is gone. It's gone already.
Look what they've just thrown. There's women and children. There's women here. Families come under violent hostile attack by gangs of Muslims armed wearing balaclavas, supported by the police. That's the reality. That's what the headline should have said. Innocent bystanders, innocent members of the public going to a political rally.
Pakistani community. You. We have the right to have a political rally. The Pakistani men have no right to come here and attack young kids in the crowd by throwing bricks and balls. Shame on the Pakistani community. I think, to be honest, the longer I stay here, the longer they're going to stay here. As it gets into the evening, the last thing we want is them not rioting across the city. So I'm going to make the decision. I'm going to...
So Tommy shut his campaign rally short, and I just wanted to bring that to you guys. I don't want you to be upset, because what happens when things like this happen is that we share it, we let the world know. I know that people have been taken down for sharing Tommy Robinson things. Somebody was taken down, a leftist was taken down for sharing an anti-Tommy Robinson thing. If we're taken down, then so be it. We will try to be as cautious as possible, but we are going to share these stories as best as we can. I know that if we share too many InfoWars ones, they said, but it's obviously one of those things where they're not going to let everybody know what the rules are when the rules are in place. So, I accept. They marched them there, so now when Tommy wants to speak in another town, they can say, well, your rallies incite violence. That's true. A lot of the policemen are bad cops. They hate Tommy Robinson. They love the others. They probably solicit their underage brothels. With some police were caught up in some of those grooming gangs. This is the river of blood that was predicted by Enoch Powell. It is upon us, and we are deliberately kept unarmed in Britain to defend ourselves. Now, I do want you guys to know this is not all Muslims. So please be careful when you make your comments, because it's not, and you can be mad, and when you see things like this, you want to say Muslims do this. Well, Muslims are doing that, but not all Muslims. Okay? There's a gang of 100 violent criminals. Okay? What we need to see is pressure on the Muslim community to condemn this violence. And it can happen. It will happen. There's billions of Muslims in this world, and they are not all like that. All right? But we have to be able to call it out. Just like not all Tommy Robinson supporters are neo-Nazis, but if you listen to sometimes Nigel Farage, you might think that they are all far right. And that is just as wrong to put Tommy Robinson supporters in the far right category, in the neo-Nazi category, with a few bad actors, as it is to put Muslims in a bad category. But Muslims are Muslims are protected, and right-wing people are not protected. Okay, so all right. I just wanted to go over Dellingpool as Burger King appears to tweet jokey support about that one. I think Nick Moran says, okay, so this milkshake stuff, I'm talking about the general, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we're done with the milkshake thing. It was just stupid. It's very stupid. Let's see. Let's get on to some good news for a second. Okay. So, guess who came to America this week, y'all? One of my favorite European leaders, Viktor Orban. Donald Trump loves this guy, and I love him too. Okay? Trump, twin brother Orban has done the right thing on immigration, kept Hungary safe. President Donald Trump's meeting with the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban was a great success, with the American leader comparing his European counterpart to a twin brother. Oh my God. I love it. Prime Minister Viktor Orban, who won his third consecutive election with a parliamentary supermajority last year, has in many ways been in the vanguard of the national populist insurgency against the left neoliberal consensus, which has prevailed throughout the West for the past 40 years. His platform, which emphasizes Hungary's national identity and Christian heritage and explicitly rejects multiculturalism and mass migration, promoting social cohesion over the former and the support for the family and child rearing over the latter, is popular with voters but fiercely opposed by the leadership of the European Union, non-government organizations, and the so-called civil society groups funded by wealthy activists like George Soros. However, in contrast to his predecessor Barack Obama and what the Hungarians have described as a liberal cabal at the U.S. State Department, the populist-leaning President Trump appears unperturbed by the hyperbolic accusations which have been leveled at the Hungarian leader. Viktor Orban has done a tremendous job in so many different ways. He's highly respected all over Europe, probably like me, a little bit controversial, but that's okay. You've done a good job, and you've kept your country safe, he told reporters at the Oval Office meeting. I want to see, I do have, if my Gateway Pundit article is up, there is a video here. We stand together for protection of Christians here. Let's see.
Are you concerned about democratic backsliding in Hungary under this prime minister?
Well, people have a lot of respect for this prime minister. He's a respected man, and I know he's a tough man, but he's a respected man, and he's done the right thing, according to many people, on immigration. And you look at some of the problems that they have in Europe that are tremendous because they've done it a different way than the prime minister.
I have some expectations for this meeting this afternoon. First of all, to strengthen our strategic alliance, then to discuss global political issues because so many changes are going on and we have some similar approaches. And I would like to express that we are proud to stand together with the United States on fighting against illegal migration, on terrorism, and to protect and help the Christian communities all around the world. So, President, thank you very much for the invitation.
Yay! Brother from another mother. That's what I say. Alrighty. So good. So good. It's just, I love to bring the liberal tears, baby, because that's what happens when Viktor Orban and Donald Trump be getting together. The tears just and the anger. It's good. It's good for them. It's good for them. So I'm not done. I'm going to go back to Brother from another mother. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Let's see. According to U.S. Ambassador to Hungary, David Korsten, the meeting between Trump and Orban concluded with the president telling the Hungarian, "It's like we're twins." Not everyone agrees with us. Not everyone loves us. But look at our results. Oh, my word, you guys. Come on, tell me you don't think that's absolutely hilarious. Come on. You guys know this is hilarious. All right. Oh, my gosh. You got to have some good news, guys. We got to have some good news. Got to have some good news. The Hungarian is perhaps best known in America voters for his robust and long-time atypical response to hundreds of thousands of illegal migrants spilling across his country borders after Germany's Angela Merkel invited everybody over. Hanging out. Now, I think there might be, since this was such a great meeting, let me see if I can find a little bit more video. Because, I mean, just seeing Trump together with Viktor Orban is priceless. Hello? See, and this is what you're going to get with everybody else. Orban has only been emboldened to solidify his status on the far right, a strategy he hopes to impose on the rest of the continent, according to Trump inviting him over. Donald Trump, after he met with Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary, Viktor did a good job. Viktor did a good job. Let's see. Maybe we'll just...
All right, there,
Viktor
everyone,
Turley.
we are seeing nothing short of a new post-globalist political alliance as President Trump
Turley
and Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban meet in the Oval Office just days before the European elections. That's what we'll be talking about on today.
Okay, let's see. No,
all right,
we want to see the whole video.
Everyone, we
I like
are seeing nothing.
Steve Turley's awesome, by the way. Let's see. No, he is not an anti-Semite. Ilham Omar attacked Trump from having Viktor Orban over. You know, if she's against you, you're doing the right thing. Always, right? Here we go. This is what I want to play this and then we'll move on. This is the one clip I want to play.
Respected all over Europe. Probably, like me, a little bit controversial, but that's okay. That's okay. You've done a good job, and you've kept your country safe. We'll be discussing NATO. As you know, Hungary is a proud member of NATO, and we've really gotten to know each other a little bit. We'll be discussing trade, very much so, and lots of other subjects. We'll be meeting with representatives of Hungary later on with the Prime Minister, and we'll spend some very good time together. So, Mr. Prime Minister, thank you very much for being at the White House. Thank you very much. It's a great honor. Thanks.
This is so awesome. I can't even tell you how awesome. Do you guys know, like, what this does to, like, the demonic, this, like, pumps us up. This is what gives us life again, to know there is life. There are people standing up for the right thing. I love Viktor Orban. Come on, guys. He is so, he's awesome. I just love him. I love what he's doing for Hungary. I love that he's keeping his country safe. I'm sure the Hungarians were going crazy.
In Hungary under this Prime Minister?
Well, people have a lot of respect for this Prime Minister. He's a respected man, and I know he's a tough man, but he's a respected man, and he's done the right thing, according to many people, on immigration. And you look at some of the problems that they have in Europe that are tremendous, because they've done it a different way than the Prime Minister.
Wow. So awesome.
Respected all over Europe.
Yeah, we played that one. All right.
Country on earth.
ingenuity, and hard work. It's just about knowing where to apply them.
Oh, that's awesome. Let's see. Here we go. Long history. He does not have a long history of racism. He's not a pro-commie. See, all of this, like, look at this, like, fake news. Like, throughout the, we're just done. We're done. We're done with that. Oh, you liars. You know where liars go? They go to a bad place. Alrighty. Before I'm going to get to the Australian election because it's kind of the coolest, funnest news. I want to share that kind of towards the end. So we're going to kind of cover some other news here while we're at it. Let's see if there's any more comments. Be nice, everyone. Be nice. Oh, got to go to work tonight. Watch us back. All right, St. Mark the Evangelist. Let's see. You guys are funny. Everyone be nice. Israeli researchers, Turkey's Greek, Armenian, and Assyrian Christians are destroyed by a 30-year genocide. Nothing to see here, right? 1.5 million Armenians were butchered by the Turks in 1950 for their faith in Jesus Christ. Turkey's Greek, Armenian, and Assyrian Christians, which predominated in the region before its colonization by Turkic Muslims, were subjected to a staggered campaign of genocide between 1894 and 1924, which reduced them from 20% of the population to less than 2%, according to Israeli researchers. Dr. Benny Morris and Dr. Dor Zavi of the Ben Gurion University in Israel said that the British, French, Turkish, and U.S. archives, along with some Greek materials and German and Austro-Hungarian foreign ministry papers, confirmed Turkey's Armenian, Greek, and Syrian or Syriac communities disappeared as a result of a staggered campaign of genocide beginning in 1894, perpetuated against them by their Muslim neighbors. So when we talk about these things, it would make one be afraid, right? Somebody said on Twitter or something, we're talking about how the Jews are allowed to talk against Judaism, but Muslims aren't allowed to talk about, negatively about their leaders because they can be punished. And I said Christians too, because we talk negatively about our leaders pretty much as a sport. It's kind of like, it's a sport. Christians talk about other Christians and other denominations and their leaders of their own church. Like it's, a sport complete with halftime game and everything. So, but here, when we talk about what the Muslims have done in the name of Islam to Christians, it's Islamophobic. Well, are you Nazi-phobic when you talk about what the Nazis did? Nazi-phobic? Yeah, Nazi-phobic. Yeah, heck yeah, Nazi-phobic. But no, it's not phobic. Cautious, we talked about this. Islamo-cautious, Nazi. A phobia is based on something that's not a rational fear, by the way. All right. So I'm glad that they did this research. Summarizing findings published in their full book, 30-Year Genocide, Turkey's Destruction of Its Christian Minorities. In the Wall Street Journal essay, Morris and Zaviv identified a strikingly consistent pattern of ethno-religious atrocity over 3 decades perpetuated by the Turkish government until there was nobody left. Army, police, and the populace against the Asia Minor's Christian minorities, extending well beyond the infamous Armenian genocide still denied by the Turkish government in just the short 2 years of 1915 and 1916. The bloodshed was importantly fueled throughout by religious animus. That is the key there. Muslim Turks, aided by fellow Muslims, including the Kurds, the Kyrgyzstans, the Chechens, and the Arabs, murdered about 2 million Christians in bouts of slaughter immediately before, during, and after World War I, organized by 3 successive governments. These governments also expelled between 1.5 and 2 million Christians, mostly to Greece. While the Patriarch of Constantinople, the former Byzantine capital, renamed as Istanbul by its conquerors, is still based in the city to this day, the Turkish government recently prevented the training of new Orthodox priests by shutting the island seminary of Halki. Morris and Zvi noted that the aggression against Christians was often sexual in nature, quoting American Consul General George Horton's observation that one of the outstanding features of the Turkish reprisals in the Anatolian city of Smyrna, which the Greeks had tried to take back after the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, was the wholesale violation of women and girls. We found tens of thousands of Christian women suffered rape, abduction, and forced conversion during this period, along with mass murder and expulsion. So basically you had ISIS is not some sort of random modern invention of Islam. 100 years ago. Right there in Turkey, right there. Christian capital. Remember Constantinople, if you guys don't know, this was the Christian capital of the world in 300 AD. Emperor Constantine, named after himself, Constantinople, said, hey, he became a Christian, right, by the way. On his deathbed, he was baptized on his deathbed because they felt like if you sinned after you were baptized, then you could still go to hell. But anyways, Constantinople, Christianity, finally was legalized, you could say. The German people and the government have long acknowledged the genocidal horrors of the Third Reich, making final reparations, expressed profound remorse, and worked to abjure racism. But every Turkish government since 1924, together with most of the Turkish people, has continued to deny the painful history that we have uncovered. And you know what? Along with many people, I mean, George Clooney and his wife Amal made a video on it, but I don't feel like it touched on the. It was like basically showing that a few people had died. It was kind of not where it needed to be. Not enough. It was not enough. Everybody's talking about shotguns in the chat. I can't wait for Nigel Farage to destroy both Conservatives and Labour in the upcoming EU election. We're going to talk about that. I got some videos for you guys. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about that too. Fun stuff. Sweden. A security service arrested several Islamists, including leader of a Muslim school. Swedish security service, SAPO, say they have arrested 5 radical Islamists in a short period of time, and one of those arrested being one of the main leaders of an Islamic school in western Sweden. Well, they made the arrest, right? The principal of the school said that the arrest of the man whose identity was not published in a report by Sweden broadcaster SVT would not affect the functioning of the school itself. We're fine. Everything's fine here. Everything's fine here. We just had a radical possible terrorist in our school, but no, don't worry about it. Lawyer Lars Erik Olsen, who previously represented the arrested man, said, "We have not had any contact now, and I also do not know if he will have the opportunity to contact me. It does not take much for you to be designated when you're a Muslim." Ha ha ha. Right. Okay. Whatever. One of the imams detained is Riyad al-Duhan, also known as Abu Rad, who was arrested last month and served as imam for a mosque in the city of Gavul. The imam is known as a proponent of the strict Salafist school of Islamic thought and has been in Sweden for 20 years, but has been rejected for citizenship twice. Wonder why. The spread of Islamic radicalism has been a major issue in Sweden for several years, with reports showing huge growth in the number of radicals. Swedish researcher Peter Heilengren said that there are international jihadists there. There is. Remember, we had 2017 was the worst for Ramadan. It was just radical terror everywhere. It was pretty sad. And Sweden saw some. 2 British women have been jailed in the Gulf state of Sultanate of Oman for trying to rescue abused animals. The pair were in the Middle East teaching English for the British Council, but ran afoul of a cultural misunderstanding with their Arab hosts when they attempted to save 2 mistreated dogs who had been left out in the scorching heat by their cruel owner. 33-year-old Jennifer Green of Stockton-on-Tees, County Durham, and her unnamed co-accused have been held for almost 2 weeks, according to her brother. Because it's Ramadan, nothing is happening. I'm really worried, and so is the entire family. They allegedly intervened to save abused animals, which is something honorable in Britain, but is a crime in Oman. Let's see. Abusing animals apparently is not a crime in Oman, and rescuing an animal can apparently lead to abuse by the legal system. This is yet another stark reminder that there are vast cultural and legal disparities between the West and the Gulf states. Please let my mom come home, Your Highness. Daughter of Brit mom trapped in Dubai. From Facebook post writes heartbreaking letter to Sheikh Mohammed. This was another woman detained. The British government's Foreign and Commonwealth Office, led by Jeremy Hunt, said that it was providing support for the women and their families held without trial for trying to rescue animals. Cultural differences. So when people come from those countries, you just have to wonder. All right. Should we go on to Brexit? We will in a second. All right. Jeremy Hunt is against the law to help abuse animals. That is crazy. All right. Yeah, don't forget to like our backup channel, Resistance Chicks. Rome's March for Life draws its largest crowds ever to protest abortion. Rome, we are here today to demonstrate against unjust laws that kill innocent people who cannot react and cannot defend themselves, as the president of Italy's March for Life committee, following the nation's largest anti-abortion march in its history. There's a lot of people in Italy fired up for good causes. And just so you know, if you're here in America, leftists don't understand that we actually have very liberal abortion laws, and that in Europe and in most of the world, abortion is banned after 12 weeks. While the estimates of the participants vary widely, no one contests the tens of thousands that came out Saturday for the best attended march of life in Italian history. Even more than the numbers, what grows year by year is our awareness of fighting a great and moral battle, as well as our determination not to retreat and not to compromise. Because no compromises are possible on innocent human life. We cannot accept that even a single child is violently ripped from its mother's wombs. Hear, hear. Hear, hear. So that's good news coming out of Italy. Weird news. They're kind of like a commercial, like of weird news. The 23-year-old career of a family doctor, I believe, in Britain, could be on the line because he asked a woman to show her mouth when she was talking when she brought her child in to see the doctor. Like, hello, this is like an alternate universe. The 23-year-old career of a family doctor hangs in the balance after he reportedly asked a Muslim woman to remove a veil covering her mouth so that he could better understand what she was saying about the condition of her ill child. Dr. Keith Wolverson explained that he could not hear the woman properly through her niqab, a veil covering the face from the eyes down, and asked her to politely remove it while she was describing her daughter's illness. I found it very difficult to understand the woman was saying behind her veil, so politely I asked her to remove it, as I needed to hear what was wrong with her daughter so I could offer the safest possible care. Dr. Wolverson said that she had obliged and that there had not been an issue when he initially asked, but half an hour later the woman's husband arrived at the surgery and lodged a complaint against the doctor with his supervisors. Oh my gosh. So this is what is called the patriarchy. Because when you do something to somebody's child and you don't like it, then you can go and complain, okay? But if you're in a doctor's office, okay, and your husband comes in, hello, this is they're like enforcing the patriarchy. Okay, because they see men, these liberal women that enjoy the Muslim culture so much because I don't know, they love the dominatrix or something like that. The husband claimed that his wife had been left in tears by the incident, probably because she told him and he got mad at her and felt that she had been victimized and racially discriminated against. He alleges the doctor gave her a dirty look when asking her to remove the veil. He wasn't there. He is a liar, I can tell you that right now. And refused to continue the appointment unless she complied, and the woman claims she told the doctor she was uncomfortable doing so due to her religious beliefs. The complaint has now been formally taken up. Dr. Wilson said the process could ruin me. Dr. Wilson went on to call the claims of racism outrageous. I'm not a racist. This has nothing to do with race, religious, or skin color. It's about clarity and communication. Duh. Wilson said that he had never encountered an issue in the past when asking patients to remove their face coverings and that many do it as a courtesy. It's a doctor. Oh my gosh. I just can't. Listen, those face coverings, just like a balaclava, they make it so you can't do anything. You can't talk. Why am I'm self-censoring talking about these stupid face coverings. There are things I would like to say about those face coverings. I think I know they're stupid. They're stupid. They're stupid. We can bring out our scarves. Our scarves used to be behind us. I put it in front of my face. I can't even breathe. Who would do that? It is cruel and it is inhumane. Okay? Wearing a scarf in the winter makes sense. But these men make the women cover their faces because they say that their faces are going to cause other people to stumble or lust or whatever. It's wrong and it's stupid. There, I said it. It's stupid. It's worse than stupid. It's cruel and inhumane. We treat animals better than this. What if you made an animal walk around with a face covering? It would be cruel and inhumane. Right? Can I get an amen? It's cruel and it's inhumane. It's so stupid. I was speaking to an Iranian the other day, and he stated that the burqa isn't a religious garment and not in the Quran to wear them. They're used as oppression instruments against women, in his words. We have to keep saying that. It's not a religious argument. They always love to play the race card to get their own anti-British ways. This is Britain, and where women should live by our laws and our culture, not by their own darn country. People do dress their pets. France did best by banning it. Why? Here's the thing. If France can ban it, then I can say it's stupid and we need to ban it. Because France is as left as you can get. Radical left. The whole internet's run by leftists. I love my life. All right. So the Swiss are holding a referendum on the EU attempt. Let's see if it's passed or failed. The United Nations. Okay, so in Switzerland, everybody has a gun. Right? Lots of guns in Switzerland. No violence. But the EU wants to ban guns. Well, I'm sorry. They want to ban guns, but they want to put restrictions on them. And Swiss voters are casting their ballots in a referendum to decide whether to enact new restrictions on guns and line up with Switzerland's partners in the European visa-free travel zone who have already tightened gun rules following extremist attacks in Europe. The proposal could require regular training on the use of firearms, special waivers for possession of some semi-automatic weapons. It's a in Switzerland, it's a sport. Shooting is a sport, which lets you know that everyone in Switzerland is really rich because ammo is expensive. Really expensive. So there's this Schengen areas of travel free and the travel free zone, and Switzerland is part of that. And the European Union is threatening that if they don't enact these gun restrictions, then they would be kicked out of the Schengen zone. It will not stop terrorism. Just FYI, it will not. So let me see if they passed that or failed that, because they would be at the polls right now. Let's see, Swiss gun vote. Maybe we'll get that. Maybe we'll get it here. I don't know. Swiss vote to toughen gun laws in line with EU request. Shoot yourself in the foot, baby. 63.7% of Swiss voters cast their ballots in favor of tightening gun laws amid pressure from the government that a no vote would lead to Switzerland's exclusion from the visa-free Schengen travel area. Emotions running high ahead of the vote on reforming Swiss gun laws. A majority of Swiss voted in favor of changing the gun laws. Corporate tax pension reform and changes to the gun law. Swiss voters accept both reforms, around 66%. Well, Switzerland's vote on guns and tax augurs well for its at times frosty relationship with the EU just weeks before it faces its next shutdown. There you go. There you go. Okay. Whatever you're... In the wake of the 2015 terrorist attack in the French capital of Paris, where gunmen killed more than 100 people, the EU decided to tighten firearm regulations. Because of terrorism. Why don't you tighten terrorist regulations? You can't do that, can you? That'd be racist. This is what we call punishing innocent people for what other people do. It made the acquisition and ownership of gun more difficult, improved the traceability of arms components, and increased cooperation and security among members. I think another part of that, they were afraid they wouldn't be able to, their governments wouldn't be able to coordinate on terror things. Ultimately, Switzerland's government says it convinced the commission to drop the demand that private individuals be categorically banned from owning automatic and semi-automatic guns. Instead, semi-automatic weapons with magazines of more than 10 rounds used for rapid fire are formally banned, but in practice, they are subject to an official license by the authorities. The Justice Minister has stressed the importance of an opt-out clause for standard issue Army rifles. So you have the application for the weapons, criminal record. Looks like you can get banned or are fully automatic rapid fire. So there you have it. One EU country has lost some freedoms today. Sorry, guys. Well, let's go to some good news. Are you ready? Are you ready to go down under? Sometimes you gotta. I know it's like a roller coaster ride when I do these. When I do this Sunday show, because sometimes I don't have as much good news as today or other news, so it's kind of hard. It's like more. It's more like a lot of downhill and actually uphill is the hard part. EU is a very thin-veiled democracy. The veil is slipping off the face of the EU and showing it to be the future USSR. Switzerland isn't in the EU, which they aren't in the EU. Talk about Brexit. We're going to talk about Brexit, baby. We have to. It's happening. It's happening. The votes this week. We are going to talk about Brexit. I got stuff. I got videos. But let's go to Australia. You guys, I had no idea that there was a big election happening this week. Raise your hand if you knew that down under there was a big election happening. And that, okay, so when I talk about this, their liberals are conservatives. Their Labor is the left. So the liberal conservatives, okay, the, Make America Great, Make Australia Great party, there was a major upset. It was like a Brexit, okay? So this was right before the election. Australian Conservatives set for surprise election win. Left admits defeat. Australia's ruling Conservative coalition won a surprise victory in the country's general election on Saturday, defying opinion polls that had tipped the center-left opposition party to oust it from power and promising to end a revolving door of national leaders. They had several prime ministers over the past 10 years. Opposition Labour Party leader Bill Shorten conceded defeat late in the evening as Prime Minister Scott Morrison's Liberal Conservative left party-led coalition came close to a majority in Australia, and they did come on the majority. So Labour was not able to form the government there. Tony Abbott being their last, great leader there. So let me bring up my own tweets on... I've been tweeting out. It was pretty cool when I got on Twitter. I was like, oh wow, we didn't even get a chance to cover up to the election to even watch it. So that I kind of missed out on a little bit. But here we go. Let's see. I guess they ran the Labour Party ran on a huge progressive platform and climate change. They felt like climate change would win the day for them. But I said global warming and climate hysteria is a false religion of the upper class who can afford electric cars and organic food. We have a worldwide pollution problem, a factory farming problem, war for oil problem, but the whole climate change issue is a false religion. So let me see if I have...
26 years ago, John Huston lost the unlosable...
Let's see. Let me see if I can turn this back on. Get us back. Get you guys the volume back here. So it was really fun. I actually listened to like all 3 or 4 hours of their election coverage back. It wasn't very exciting because they're too polite. I feel in Australia.
Ago, John Hewson lost the unlosable election, and I feel like I might be in a bit of history repeating itself, but this time on the Labor Party brand, because it feels like they're shell shocked. They thought they were going to win, very optimistic at the start of the night, and now silence. It's basically silence in this room.
Yeah, I mean, the shell shock, it's disbelief, it's a very sombre mood here, I think there's been some wins in Victoria, but Labor has gone backwards in seats it picked up in 2016.
Why is Labor so bad in Queensland? I mean, the numbers in Queensland are horrendous, and obviously no published poll picked it up.
Look, I think the One Nation and United Australia Party vote has been a big factor. I mean, you look at a seat like Longman, where Susan Lamb is her primary's off less than 2%. But the One Nation and Palmer vote is up 6.5%, and that is flowing through to the coalition. It looks like those voters on the right are following the how to vote cards, showing a voting discipline, if you like, that we haven't seen in previous elections. Those voters have tended to go every which way, but this time they do look like those preferences are following through.
So this was, from what I understood, this was one of those upsets like a Brexit, like Donald Trump being elected. Labor, the left, thought they had it in the bag. Even the conservatives felt like they were going to lose. But that's because the polls were false. The polls were wrong. So Labor ran on global warming. And I talked about this. This is an upper echelon. You guys are going to love this.
The majority government now. We just cannot get a majority government now. Where do you think this is going to land?
Well, it's a minority government, like I said last time. So we've got a period of instability. It's a minority government that has, whoever wins, doesn't have the numbers in the lower house, doesn't have the numbers in the Senate. And I think we're in for a period of instability for 3 years, which is really sad. But I do think I'd rather fancy myself, if I was a Liberal, I'd fancy my chances more than if I was a Labor leader, because one person you forgot to mention who's one of the crossbenchers that will decide this is, of course, Bob Katter. So add him, and the Liberals may need maybe one more, and I think they might be able to get it. A Labor crossbench support will be much broader and much more difficult, because it'll include a Green, for instance. So I'd fancy the Liberals a little bit ahead of Labor at this stage, but either way it's going to be unstable. But I have to say, whatever, Scott Morrison has made himself into an instant Liberal hero. This is a feat bigger than Paul Keating pulled off in winning the election against John Hewson. This is just astonishing.
Liberal means conservative, guys. Labor is left. So right. Liberal means right, on the right. It's a little bit different in Australia, just so you got to translate that. It's like when Nigel Farage says democratic.
And we have to think, well, if the polls weren't completely wrong, if they were halfway in the ballpark, say, when they were taken 3 days ago or a week ago, you have to think there was also a last-minute swing in this week. And I'm looking at what might have affected that. Two things occur to me. One is the ludicrous attack on Scott Morrison's faith. And if you have a look, it's in the Bible Belt kind of seats, the outer suburban seats, where Labor didn't get the swing it was counting on. That ludicrous attack on Christianity, that is a real marker for Labor. And the other point was, of course, Bob Hawke's death.
So
a lot of people thought
the Labor Party attacked Christianity and his faith.
It's going to swing the sympathy vote to Labor. I wonder whether, as I said on my show yesterday, people seeing Bob Hawke there and then Bill Shorten giving eulogy after eulogy there thought, well, Bill Shorten is no Bob Hawke. I think that really could have come through as well. But fundamentally, I want to go back to the conversation you had before. This was the global warming election. Labor said it, the Greens said it. I think the Greens vote will probably go down, and Labor has been humiliated. The Labor vote went down, or it didn't pick up like they'd counted on in exactly the seats like in Queensland, where they knew that the cost of Labor's global warming folly was the Adani coal mine. By the way, all those Adani protesters with all their signs over all these years, you lost, suckers. And the other thing is, you look at the other places. They're in poorer suburbs where people can't afford power prices. Labor got in thrall to the religion of the upper middle class, a religion that the poor, its natural constituency, cannot afford. It has got to rethink this mad folly. It was a global warming election, and they lost.
And I have to tell you, that is why... Oh, wait.
Drew, well, yeah, hard to argue that they've hit the wrong note in so many parts of the country with that.
Hard to argue that they hit the wrong note. So that's what's happening, and the left are going even crazier and even more to the left. But that's what happened in 2016, because I don't know if you guys know much about what happened here in 2016. But before, what Barack Obama did was he went on a war against coal. And we have a dear friend who was a coal miner for many, many years in West Virginia. West Virginia is coal town. So everyone has somebody who's in those coal mines. And guess what? It's unlike when miners are different. Because it takes a very special person to get on a machine that takes you miles down, like it takes you an hour riding on the thing going down and the tram going out to where you're digging to get in and out. So it takes very special people. I mean, you get paid relatively good salary for that, but it's very, very dangerous. It's very bad for your body. It's very bad for your lungs. So these families, they have a community, and when you attack, it's not just raising taxes. You're attacking people's livelihood and their lives and their community. And in my opinion, that is why, even though West Virginia has a major Democrat senator, that they voted heavily for Donald Trump, because he came out for these labor policies. And the same thing with the left. They have abandoned the labor market that was their people. Now they have moved on to gender identity and climate change, which goes to show you that the people on the left are not principled. The same thing with labor. Why is Tommy Robinson? Tommy Robinson is doing really well with the people that used to be considered the Labor Party, the low income people, right? Because the Labor Party doesn't represent the people. They just use the people, and that's the difference. I'm not saying that the people on the right do not, but I'm saying that they do it less often, that the people on the right actually have to have some sort of principle to run on, because they do not run on identity politics, okay? I do know that a lot of people run on pro-life here in America, and they're not really pro-life, but I say, you know what, at least they have to vote according to that record. So here we have Rita. I think she's a broadcaster in Australia, and she says the center-right coalition government has achieved the most astonishing victory in modern Australian politics. The Australian people rejected the class warfare, climate alarmism, and identity politics. This is Scott Morrison's victory, miracle victory. She says, this is my current mood. So let's see. Scott Morrison's victory, miracle victory. Let's see if the Herald Sun wants to come up or if I have to subscribe to read it. The coalition has achieved the most astonishing victory in modern Australian politics. The Australian people rejected class warfare, climate alarmism, and the identity politics of labor. Some are not taking the loss very well, and that is epic. Australia, if the LNP wins, we have decided to be a backward-looking country in a backwater. I wish I was a New Zealander. Well, Australia may be effed and the whole planet not far behind, but I am at the best, most brilliant and cool wedding I've ever been to. Blah, blah, blah. Australians are dumb, mean-spirited, and greedy. Accept it. Now that the voting booths have closed, I can finally admit I hope Labor's win is so emphatic that it destroys the Liberal Party generationally, that they have to rebuild that party from the ground up. The politics have based racism. We're seeing that we are not immune to the virus that has affected Western democracy. No, it's called real liberalism. It's called real freedom. Freedom of speech, freedom to control your borders. I mean, you guys are surrounded in Australia by ocean, water, and you still have invaders. Let's see.
PVO, for your impartial view.
I see a Labor victory, but then the real unknown is the size of it. You know, there hasn't been any real sense of a move during this election campaign. Quite the opposite, actually. If anything, Scott Morrison has out-campaigned Bill Shorten. But before the election campaign, it looked like Labor was heading to a big win. The issue is this close to polling day, when people that are undecided, when they actually go and make up their mind and actually vote. Is there a move on? If there's not, I still think it's a Labor win, but it's narrow. If, however, what was transpiring before the campaign hits people at the last minute, those undecided voters, then I think Labor's margin, or its numbers, I should say, could well have an 8 in front of it.
I noticed no one has put a number on it. PVO, I'm going to put...
So that was during election evening. They thought Labor was going to just sweep. So the somber mood afterwards was pretty... It was epic. How you doing? It was interesting for sure. Australia's Liberal National Coalition government has defied opinion polls to retain power in the federal election, prompting people to compare the shock result to Brexit and Donald Trump's win. That was top news. Scott Morrison is swept to victory in a sensational federal election result that defied the polls. And let me tell you guys a little something. Let me see if I can find the video I had on the sausages. So funny. Let's see. Hello. No? I didn't retweet it about the sausages? That was funny. Did you guys know that in Australia, they have like a little party kind of during the election, and all the polling places sell like sausages. I'm not even kidding you. It was called the Aussie. Let's see, Oz poll. I was trending on Twitter with this little sausage next to it, this sausage emoji, and I was like, "What's the sausage? What's the sausage?" Well, nice people. Jesus Christ, all the Australians that voted Liberal are a bunch of you're only doing yourself and your country a disservice. That's nice. Just some nice people. Let's see. This was a miracle, and let me see. I want to see if I can find the video about the sausages. Why did they do sausages? Let's see. In honor of the win for the good guys, an old favorite, which my daughter's Aussie's boyfriend has tried to ban her from singing. Let's see, is this a
Himself up onto his elbows, and he turns to his mates who are all gathered around, and he says, "Watch me wallabies, me mate. Watch me wallabies."
That's awesome. Okay. Oh, that's us. People singing, people happy. The highlight of the election. Oh my gosh. When you're not winning. Or is that, I honestly. Australian election. Prime Minister Morrison claims victory. Miracle upset. Let's see if we get another video. I want you guys to know about the sausages.
Australia's incumbent Prime Minister claimed a surprise election victory on Saturday. And how good are Australians? Defying pre-vote polls that predicted a change of government. This is the best country in the world in which to live. Polls and betting markets had predicted the centre-left opposition Labour Party would seize power. But Scott Morrison's Liberal Party-led Conservative coalition defied expectations by holding on to a string of outer suburban seats in areas where demographics closest resemble America's Rust Belt. That blocked Labour's strongest path to victory, forcing Labour leader Bill Shorten to concede.
We can't change the past, but my word, we can change the future.
However, he said that would be a task for the next Labour leader, as he would now step down. His campaign had promised fairer taxes and to fight climate change.
He had actually, no, Higher taxes. Did he say fair taxes? Higher taxes.
Stronger environmental action, while Morrison's coalition strongly supports the coal industry. On Saturday, he was confronted by an anti-coal protester.
You need to keep coal on the ground.
But while Morrison could shrug that off, elsewhere the climate change issue helped claim a high-profile scope. Former Liberal Party Prime Minister Tony Abbott conceded
We're going to get small again.
he had lost his seat in Warringah to high-profile independent Zali Steggall, who won support with her calls for more action on climate change. Several seats are still too close.
So, there you have that. Now, just for kicks. Australia voting sausage. Why do they do sausages? It's so funny.
Australians will vote in record numbers at this year's federal election. About 90% of eligible Australian voters will cast a ballot, way more than the 55% who voted in the last US presidential election and the 70% in the last UK general election. So why so high? Well, Australia has compulsory voting. Here, you have to vote. If you don't without a good reason, you get hit with a fine. At the moment, that's $20 Australian, which is enough to buy you 5 cups of takeaway coffee, 2 small portions of fish and chips, or 1 hour surfboard hire at the beach. Now, critics of compulsory voting say free citizens should be able to choose whether or not to participate, but most Australians seem to be in favour.
I think it's a good thing. I think it forces people to have an opinion.
Yeah, definitely. It's a right that each of us have. We need to express our ideas.
Compulsory voting means that you are expected to be able to have a chat over politics, whether that be at the water fountain at work or over a beer at the pub. You should have an opinion about who should win an election and why.
But does forcing people to vote change the nature of politics?
In countries with voluntary voting, people of lower socioeconomic status are less likely to turn out to vote. These are groups that are more likely to support parties on the left. So the effect is that when voting is compulsory, parties on the left benefit.
It's perfectly okay, at least legally, to turn up and spoil your ballot paper or leave it blank. And there's also something called the donkey vote. That's when voters choose their preferred candidates in the same order as they appear on the ballot paper.
People understand that they are obliged to turn up to vote, but they also understand that they can vote in an illegitimate way as well. Is this a cardinal sin for people? Do they think it's a really, really bad thing? No, not particularly.
But it's not just compulsory voting that gets people to the polls. Unlike many countries, elections here always happen on a Saturday, theoretically making it easier for more people to take part. And that's not all. Polling stations pretty much always have a charity stall selling tea, cakes and the classic Australian democracy sausage. So even if you resent having to vote, it shouldn't leave a bad taste in your mouth.
So I thought that was really weird. Like they have teas and cakes and things like that. So, yay to Australia. Thank God the fake news and left-wing media got the polls wrong, just like the U.S. elections.
The Prosecco. Oh, see.
They're celebrating. So this was a big win for Australia. So I'm pretty excited for them. All right, let's see. We're going to talk about Brexit, and because we know most of you in the UK, but this was good news. Really, really good news. Brexit party is definitely headed to a victory. So that's good news too. We have a lot of good news. So much. It's just like we just keep winning. We're going to get tired of winning, right? You guys going to get tired of winning? Good things keep happening. That was funny. Okay, knife crime's up. Let me just make sure I don't have anything else on Australia before we move on. That was my weather, my local weather. Let's see what Steve Turley had to say real quick.
All right, there, everyone. Some breaking news here. The Conservatives pull off a stunning win in Australia with help from a populist surge. That's what we'll be talking about on today's video. But first, make sure to get my new book, Uprising, How the Young Understand What Absolutely. And I thought, you know, there's just no way the Conservatives are going to pull this off in a third straight election in a row. Australia is just going to go further left like Spain or Ireland or Portugal, and it's just going to have to play catch-up at some point with the nationalist, populist, and traditionalist trends that are going on throughout the world. And, of course, that is what this channel is devoted to, right? We analyze conservative trends, not liberal ones. Conservatives, and Australia was trending the other way. So there wasn't much to talk about on this channel with it. And then look what happens. As of today, my Aussie brothers and sisters, our Aussie brothers and sisters have come through with a stunning victory for the center right. Even the New York Times recognized that the very same populist right dynamics that propelled Brexit and Donald Trump to victory were operative here in Australia. The Times called it a, quote, swell of populist fervor. And I come before you asking your forgiveness for ignoring what turned out to be another amazing victory for the global turn to the political right. Prime Minister Scott Morrison will be returning to office with his center-right coalition firmly in control, to the shock of pundits and pollsters alike. Right now they are projected to get easily the 76 seats they need to win. It all seemed to center around Queensland, which was the strategic center for Labour to get back into power. And they thought if they could win Queensland with a massive number of seats, they'll have the electoral numbers to take the nation as a whole with a new center-left majority. It seemed very similar to what Hillary Clinton was banking on back in the 2016 election with the so-called blue wall of Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan, Pennsylvania. The Queensland Foundation, however, crumbled. The state was a disaster for the Labour Party. Labour was supposed to pick up a half dozen seats or so, and instead they ended up actually losing seats. Early results in Queensland showed a surge for the Conservative coalition government, again, like Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan, Pennsylvania. The Nationalist Populist One Nation did rather well across the country as compared with 2016, where they had limited candidates. They did well, particularly in Western Australia. Interestingly, they seemed to take some votes away from the Labour base. They're still a fringe party, but they're polling at around 10% support here, and they ran candidates throughout the various regions, which shows some signs of health. The Nationals won in New England with Barnaby Joyce. He's been a strong voice for the right in Australian politics. He's most famous for, or infamous if you're from the left, for saying that Australia should prioritize Middle Eastern Christians during the refugee crisis. He's thoroughly pro-life and the like. You know, on the other side, it was just another frustrating election for the center-left, okay? Which the center-left appears to be getting more and more used to with elections around the world. If you
The center-left, there is no more center-left. You're either, like, normal or you're crazy, right? All right. The Australian elections are also good for post-Brexit trade agreements with Britain. Win-win, more and cheaper Aussie wine. Stuart the Brit. All right, guys. This is Brexit's second victory. First one didn't seem to matter. The government, let's hope for them that it does. Assange was sold out by the Australian politicians, particularly the left, who loved Assange. Now, Al Parks is from Australia. He's our resident Australian. Hey, are you happy, Al? Are you excited? I need to know. Is this a good thing for you? Tell me what's going on in your country, Al. Put some stuff in the chat. Al Parks. The Australian major parties tend to toe Washington line on Assange. I understand why. The only people who can help Assange are regular people like us. Absolutely, guys. That's us. Morrison won't help Assange, unfortunately. That would stick. That's not good. People were wondering, would the PM save Assange? Good question. Do mods have the right to delete any non-English messages? For transparency, I don't know. You could leave them. I don't care. And translate it into Google Translate and see what it says. Put it in there yourself. That might be fun. I'm in Northwest in Sydney doing something, living in a few nations. Okay. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I put it in Google Translate and see what you guys come up with. Labour Party in Britain are no longer a British political party. They want to get into power to bring about a race war and to fully destroy our British economy. All right. What the lady is absolutely correct about the UK Labour Party, especially with Commie Corbyn in charge. They totally, thank you. I appreciate that. The left meltdown is huge, very Trump derangement-like. Al Parks, so it looks like Stuart the Brit was raised in Gladstone in Queensland. So proud of you guys. So I was worried there for a while. Here. See? We're coming together across the world. That's what I love about this channel. You guys are awesome. This is so much fun. Yay. We have people all over the world, and we're coming together on the same issues. I'm so excited. It's a really great day.
If you're a regular viewer of this channel, you'll know that we've documented how the center left has been collapsing in its support all throughout the world. Even in Spain, when the socialists recently won, it was with an election that saw for the first time the Nationalist Populist Vox Party breakthrough and rise to national prominence. And in Finland, where the Social Democrats won, they did so only by tying with the Nationalist Finns Party for first place. So even when the left wins, there's the Nationalist Populists right there surging right along with them. But for the most part,
the farther left they go, they actually, it's like a polarizing thing with like a magnet. It makes people go more to the right. Right? The farther left people go with their crazy commies, because deep inside, people don't choose communism. Okay? Let me say that again. Deep inside, people revolt against massive government control. So when they're okay with education and the government doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, right? And they're kind of okay. You have the center-left people, the labor people, the people who need help up sometimes, right? So they rely on the government for that help. I don't think it's right, but they do, and I understand it. But when you start to push the climate change stuff and the total progressiveness and we're going to change the world and we're going to change everything about how you live and total control, they don't like that. They don't want to be controlled. They want to be helped out, but people don't want to be controlled. So they're going to rebel against you. So the best thing that ever happened to the globalist populist movement, which I like that rather than the right or the, even conservatism, the populist movement, the movement of the people, so that we can decide. That's what democracy is supposed to be about. We get together and we decide, not the upper echelons telling us what to do. And so Jeremy Corbyn, if he were a man of the people, he would get on the ground and he would say, what are your issues today? I want to go and represent you. Right? That's what representatives are supposed to do. So we're very excited about what's happening here.
We're seeing the center left being squeezed out of the mainstream with shifts in the electorate moving more to the center right.
Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Steve Turley. If you guys want, he does populist trends, so it's always good news. We cover both. His are very uplifting to watch, Dr. Steve Turley. So if you guys need something to do, watch his shows because he always covers positive. I have to laugh because I listen to my own news sometimes. I'm like, this is so depressing. And I told Michelle the other day, I said, we got to be more funny, child. Because, like, we start to get into this stuff, and it's like, woe is me. But actually, guys, the more the darkness is, the brighter the light shines, right? So we're definitely seeing light shine. Oh, you got 5 sisters and your brother in Australia. You haven't asked them how they voted, but I hope they did the right thing. Polarizing exactly what happened. Looks like Al Parks said he was worried there, but the people rejected the BS on the media. Pretty cool. Looks like who was ever being deleted is actually Finnish. So if you're from, hey, I'm Swedish. kind of like next door neighbors. Just kidding. So I'm glad that you're here. If you're new, we're happy to have you here. Yes, we did see the crud, the police letting the happened to Tommy Robinson. Watch the beginning of our show. So excited to have you guys here. It's awesome. All right, so Brexit. This week, the 23rd. All right, here we go now. I don't know how you guys watch my show. All right, so there's a lot of great videos out. Nigel Farage is rocking and rolling. Let's see. Brexit party is storming to victory, but where does that leave you, Kip? That's a really good question before we get into like awesomeness of Brexit party. Tommy Robinson was on Friday on the Alex Jones show, and he is rightfully disappointed in Nigel Farage. I'm not gonna go over that all again. We covered it greatly in our show. Do what you got to do. Vote who you got to vote. If you're in Tommy's district, vote for Tommy. Don't vote for the Brexit candidate, but everywhere else, vote for Brexit. Or if you want to vote for Sargon of Akkad or whatever. This week I caught up with the Brexit party on the EU elections campaign trail. Was hugely impressed by the Blitz operation I saw. Any new party that can field candidates as strong as Anne Wincombe? Anne Wincombe. All right, y'all need to see her little Anne Wincombe video. Are you ready?
In the Conservative Party. I have been in the Conservative Party for 55 years. And 23 of those were as the Conservative Member of Parliament.
She left the Conservative Party.
I've witnessed the highs and the lows. The good times and the bad times. When we voted to leave in 2016, it was one of the best days of my life. But what has happened since then has been the willful betrayal of 17.4 million people. The Conservative Party that I knew, that stood for the values of trust, honesty and democracy, would never have done this. We've got the worst Prime Minister since Anthony Eden, and the worst leader of the opposition in the entire history of the Labour Party. Britain's an international laughingstock. I'm coming out of retirement to stand for election for the Brexit Party, because I want a proper Brexit. On the 23rd of May, we need to send Westminster a message. Vote for the Brexit Party on May the 23rd, and we'll change politics for good.
She is a national treasure that you all have, and a national hero. I would love to sit down with her with a cup of tea. I mean, you guys have some heroes. Like, for a while, it's touch and go there for a while, but you do have some heroes. And she is one of them. She is one of them. The world is watching. Does this not have volume? If Britain won't set an example for democracy, who will? That is a really good question. The world is watching. Let's see. Watch how the EU views our country. Our leaders have humiliated Britain. Let's see.
We finally turned him into a colony, and that was our plan.
What that special place in hell looks like for those who promoted Brexit.
Slowly but surely, English is losing importance.
So that the only way out of this crisis is a new transfer of powers to the European Union and to the European institutions.
Does he not know how much he sounds like Hitler, baby? Come on!
The European Union and Britain is one thing. The United Kingdom belongs to the European Union.
No, baby. Can we just say no? No, just say no. I'm glad somebody put that together. Man, I have to tell you, the ground, huge crowds here at Frimley. I'm sure the elderly people enjoy the rock and roll there. Let's see. If you lived in the Iron Curtain,
I never thought I.
Then you would understand what democracy is. Brexit candidate. Here we go.
Never thought I would stand as a candidate, but here I am, proud to join such a special group of people representing modern Britain, and I'm honoured to be part of Team Nigel, a man that did more for British democracy than any politician in our generation. Like my fellow candidates, I have had enough of being vilified, slandered and sneered at. We were even called Nazis for believing in Britain and supporting Brexit. This is deeply offensive to me personally. In 1941, my great-grandparents were shot by the Nazis and thrown in a mass grave. The word democracy comes from ancient Greek, and it simply means people power. But we cannot take our democracy for granted, because if you happen to be born behind the Iron Curtain, where people have never voted, where the only freedom of expression and free speech was clapping for the communist elites at rallies, where minorities were brutally treated and people trying to escape were shot, then, if you live through this, trust me, you understand how precious democracy is. We are entitled to demand that Westminster works for us, the people. We need politicians that implement and deliver our votes, and do it now. It's up to us to bring the change in our politics, because today it's about our future as a nation. The Brexit Party offers a unique national platform, bringing together pub owners and academics, stay-at-home moms and teachers, business people, fishermen, and immigrants that are proud to call Britain their home. Vote for the Brexit Party, stand with us, and together we will make the 17.4 million votes matter, because Brexit, it's our battle of Britain.
She said that, like, mic drop, baby, mic drop. I wish they put some really cool music behind that. But seriously, Brexit has put together the most diverse candidates in the history of the UK. I'm not even kidding you. All right. Obama told the Brits that we had to vote to remain. We told him to get lost with the Brexit vote. So what hope do the EU politicians think they are going to do by ordering the Brits around? Guy is the worst person from Belgium in the EU Parliament. Michelle had a bee emergency today. An expert came by to help her. And just as our live stream started, so she's trying to requeen her hive over there. We need more bees. Yes, we need more bees. So Michelle's, he just happened to come. It was going to rain. It's a long story. So Michelle's working with the bees. Mom, keep your temper in check. She's tired. She's tired. All right. Labor have abandoned democracy and the working class.
The whole of our democratic...
Oh, yeah, you have to watch this.
But do you think Canada is going to allow its laws to be written in America? The whole thing is an absurdity.
What party got? Where did you get it from? In whose interest you exercise it? To whom you're accountable, and how can we get rid of you? And if you can't get rid of the people who govern you, you don't live in a democratic system.
Everything. She just is a bigoted woman.
For a country Britain's size, it's important we are players in the European Union. One of the great British achievements has been an enlarged European Union, which has made a huge difference.
If you're a Brexiter, I hope you won't vote for the Labour Party, because the Labour Party is moving increasingly against Brexit.
Your entire strategy is basically to sabotage Brexit. That's it, isn't it?
Yes. I'm saying what you want is Brexit delivered. You should vote for the party that's going to deliver Brexit.
I have to tell you, the ground game, the internet game for the Brexit Party is just like off the charts. Off the charts.
Only 5 days left. And I feel like I've been doing this forever. It's only 5 weeks ago we launched, but it feels like I've been doing this for months. So today, it's the Thames Estuary, it's Essex.
Oh my word! I am in Brexit colors! I didn't even know it! Nigel, I'm with you, honey. I'm with you. I'm wearing Brexit Party colors. It's my favorite color. I have to tell you, like the light blue, that's my favorite color.
South End on Sea. Weather's good, should be loads of people. Looking forward to it.
Would you like for someone like you?
Mom got me these.
So I've got your...
You've definitely got my vote.
I'm good. Thank you. Speak for Brexit. Thank you, morning. Thank you, ladies. Oh, we got this sorted.
Flat cap there.
Next Thursday and win it big, we will put WTO clean break Brexit back on the table.
All right, let's see. We've got at least 95% of the left-wing, anti-British, anti-white, racist Labour Party are just in British politics to destroy our country from the inside, to make it communist, in my opinion, to finally destroy all of our British ways of life for good. Farage, a good bloke. Brexit Party will be fantastic for all of Europe. The Brits standing guard again, even for the French. Let's see. I hope so, Britt. I hate how so many politicians haven't been to a supermarket or to Sears. All right. Okie dokie. Republic last, as Poetry Gallery says, democracies always commit suicide. You kind of get people riled up and get them voting in the wrong direction. So Republic is the best way to go, but, you know, maybe we're just a little bit biased, but we're working, kind of. They lied to you.
Then we're out for good. There's no going back.
This is a one-off choice between staying in or leaving completely.
The referendum is clear and has to be accepted.
There won't be another referendum on Europe. This is it.
Whatever the result is, we have to respect it. It is the once-in-a-lifetime decision.
We will not be taking a decision like this again in our lifetime.
No, I don't think we need a second referendum.
People have spoken, and the answer is we're out.
We believe there must be a confirmatory public vote to see if people feel that's what they voted for.
We moved our conference policy onto a public vote.
It's in our gift to remain.
Yes, I absolutely want to have Brexit.
Brexit.
We may well get Clinton speaking up. The best option is to remain.
We will go back to the people.
I support people's vote.
Everybody said Brexit is not racist. It kind of is racist. There's no other way, it seems to me, of resolving this other than by going back to the people.
Without that second referendum, it'll be the biggest and most dangerous denial of democracy ever.
We need another vote, a real vote.
I think it's so important that we now go back to the people.
Why won't people's vote?
No Brexit at all.
Liar! Liars go to a very bad place. Liar, 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 pants on fire. They lied to you. Patriot Alley, you would like to say something? I can't move.
Okay, that's all right. I'll talk loud.
Speak loudly.
Well, with the Constitution, democracies, the Founding Fathers said democracies always commit suicide.
They do.
And they
Hang
also
themselves.
said we have a republic. A republic is based on Constitution.
Yep.
And there's foundational laws in there.
Mm-hmm.
That it doesn't matter if it's 5 or 5 billion.
Mm-hmm.
No one can change the foundation, and all laws must be based on freedom of speech. Or
the fundamental natural rights given to you by God.
Yeah.
Laws of nature and nature's God. You can't. No one can vote out the laws of nature and nature's God.
Right. But the Supreme Court came along in 1960 and went rogue. Somebody's asking about California.
Rogue, baby.
California is all messed up because their government has become corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was corrupt people got a bunch of money, and they put their own people in office. And when a criminal is in office, what is a criminal going to do? A criminal
is going to make laws so that crime is legal. That's what's going to happen.
And make crime legal.
That's what they're going to do, baby. Every
Okay,
day.
and then they won't let you have freedom of speech. From 1960, we haven't had freedom of speech because people have spoken out in churches after churches. We were there.
We were.
We
You were
couldn't get-
there.
Well, we couldn't get on the news. The news would block all Christians. Actually,
I know. And then we get the
FDR
internet. They would
did
take
it.
us off the internet.
And Wilson, they
took us off the news. They did. They shut down it. They shut down.
And so people didn't have freedom of press.
Right, and so there would be no Brexit party without the internet. This is why we use it. Because it's a tool that they created, and we got to use it against them, take them down.
And that's why a republic is more important than a democracy. Because in a democracy, the evil people go around and they make all bad. They do the same thing.
Right.
In a democracy, you become as worse as the worst instead of becoming the best of the best. Instead of having real good high standards, which a republic will give you moral standards.
Right.
We end up in a gutter. And like the Supreme Court came along with 5 people, which according to a republic you can't do.
You can't do.
And there's 9, so 5's the majority. They took prayer to school. They took
made abortion
God
legal.
out of school. They moved abortion. They made abortion legal. They made homosexual marriage. No, they have no right to do that because we have a Congress who's supposed to make laws, and those laws, even the Congress, there's 100 senators and 600 some representatives. They cannot make laws outside the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
And then earlier, what was happening is we have a new person, a couple new people. They were speaking Finnish. And I didn't know what they were saying. And when I put it into translator, it wouldn't give me a translation. And so I put it in Google. It took me to Finnish swear words.
Oh, dear.
And every single one of those swear words was in the chat.
Oh, dear.
So I blocked them out for 30 seconds.
Okay.
And I told them, please speak English.
Okay. All right. Speak the English. All right. So, listen, trade agreements between the UK and the US is going to be awesome. Let's see where we at. We already had our people's vote, and the Ramoners lost. And Subri and company should call the election a complete disgrace. All right, you guys. All right. See, the Commonwealth comprises 53 counties across all continents. 4 billion people. It's much larger than the EU. It will only be a bump for the UK to leave. The UK has many global friends. One of our great benefits of Brexit, all these leading traders, they will have to live under police protection for a bloody long time. I actually don't use that word. I just read it. Sorry. All right. Okay. Well, I'm just going to keep playing. These are great ads. They just literally, they won the game. Here, Brexit Party. They won the internet game. They won the ground game.
Breaking point, and it's time, frankly, to get
going to shake up the EU. This is so awesome. I can't wait.
Firmly back on the agenda.
May 23rd. Come on, baby.
At the next general election, you'll lose your seat.
Whoa.
First time I've ever joined a political...
Wait, listen to that again.
At the next general election, you'll lose your seat.
Wow. If you don't...
First time I've ever joined a political party, and you're it, mate. Is it really? Wow. So I get a lot of people your age say when they voice an opinion, when they support Brexit, they kind of shout it down for doing so, which is outrageous. Thanks for your support. I appreciate it. You going to vote for us next week? I'll guarantee. You going to support us? Yes. Going to vote for us next Thursday? Definitely. Going to go and do it next Thursday? Exactly. You're going to go and do it, yeah?
Nigel Farage is a machine. How does he keep going?
I found out I was doing deals all around the world. The world was so much bigger than Europe.
The world is bigger than Europe.
Are you with us? Will you vote for us next Thursday?
What Nigel Farage has done in 5 weeks is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Anastasia. How's that how you say it? That's Wincome's video. All right. So, Brexit party, Brexit rally. All right, we're done here. We did that. Let's see. Talking about UKIP. Do what you can, guys. Like I said, vote who you need to. Tory elites plot to bring down Gov if Boris becomes leader. Now, I was sent a link that Theresa May says she's going to step down in June, and Boris is going to take spot. But I guess a number of establishment Tory MPs are planning to bring down the government if Boris Johnson is elected party leader and tries to implement a no-deal Brexit. One minister warned that as many as 12 Tory MPs would vote against Mr. Johnson if he tried to introduce a Queen's speech featuring a no-deal Brexit. Such a move would mean that a Boris-led party would not be able to command a majority in the House of Commons. The minister continued saying, Boris cannot form a government, certainly not on a no-deal platform and probably not on any other. The minister went on to stress that even with support from Northern Ireland's Brexit-supporting Democratic Unionist Party, who currently have a confidence and supply deal with the Conservative Party to give the minority government a majority in the Commons, the majority would be too slim to deliver a no-deal Brexit opposed by a dozen or more Tory MPs. The minister said that even with the DUP on board, that is a majority gone, then we are straight going to election. Because basically what you're saying is so many Conservatives are left-leaning Remainers. Right? So they're actually left-leaning. So you've got to vote these people out. As it stands, Mr. Johnson is currently by far the favorite to secure the leadership in an upcoming contest. The latest polling shows that he holds a 26-point lead over his nearest rival, former Brexit Secretary Dominic Raab. However, despite holding considerable support among the largely Leave voting party membership, Mr. Johnson said he is said to not have the same popularity among the largely Remain voting parliamentary party. Well, I wonder why. An unnamed MP did admit that Mr. Johnson is extremely popular with party members, but stressed that the situation is the opposite among his colleagues at Westminster. Under current Conservative Party rules, members of Parliament whittle down leadership contenders. We talked about that to the final two. It is possible Mr. Johnson would not secure enough support among fellow MPs to progress to the wider membership vote, and that they would never get an opportunity to actually vote for him. So, we'll see what happens there, but May is supposedly stepping down. We shall see. Random news. Pro-women's rights Lord quits Labour after suspension for transphobic tweet. A Labour peer and former MP who campaigns for women's rights has quit the party after he was suspended for sharing an unacceptable tweet branded transphobic by activists. Announcing his resignation from Labour on Twitter, Lord Mui of Benocchi said he had saved them the trouble of sacking him after he learned he would be made to attend party disciplinary hearing. The former MP from Kirkcaldy, Scotland, was blasted by activists over his outspoken support for preserving the single-sex nature of facilities such as public bathrooms, changing rooms, prisons, which feminists warn are in peril. Such spaces currently protected by law are threatened by proposed changes to the Gender Recognition Act. He says, I've resigned from the Labour Party today. I was accused of transphobia by the usual suspects and told I must attend a disciplinary hearing. My membership suspended too. Not really up to fighting it, so I've saved them the trouble. I feel free to carry on campaigning for women. Let me just let you know that it is actually a very feminist thing in which all people can get behind to say no male anatomy in a female bathroom, or no males competing in women's sports. Most real feminists are behind this, and everyone else is crazy. I'm not even kidding you. Le Pen says, predicts historic breakthrough for national populist parties. We're not just looking for the Brexit party to make a big change. All right, guys? This is happening Europe-wide on May 23rd. So if you're in Europe, go and cast your vote for the national populist parties. The leader of France's National Rally Party is predicting that a group of like-minded right-wing populists will achieve a historic feat in next week's Europe-wide elections. Marine Le Pen is joining leaders of the Nationalist parties Saturday in Italy for a rally organized, that was yesterday, by leader Matteo Salvini in front of Milan's Duomo Cathedral ahead of the May 23rd to 26th European parliamentary elections. So we are going to be on call. We're going to be ready to cover this, guys. We're so excited. I can't even tell you. All right. Le Pen said she believes the Europe Nations and Freedom Parliamentary Group will perform a historic feat to pass from the 8th place in Europe to 3rd or maybe even 2nd. Hallelujah. And the angels will sing. We're going to get freedom back for the people. And analysts believe that the two traditional center-right and center-left political groups will be weakened in the vote, falling short of the 50% threshold for the first time. The 50% threshold, they're not going to get to the top. Right? Glory be. Hallelujah. We should end up good. A good note on that one, I think. What do you think? By the way, Trump and Netanyahu joined world leaders in applauding the remarkable conservative win in Australia. I forgot to show you this one. Australia's Conservative Coalition government has been returned to power. Scott Morrison achieved this miracle. He is a devout Christian. He told supporters that he always believed in miracles. We're back in Australia. Hope you didn't get seasick on our way. We traveled from Britain to Australia, but they're kind of like, you know, under the same... You guys are like under the same, like, kind of like, it's like you have like colonial like vestige, you know. They're kind of British in Australia, just saying, but they're not anymore. They're their own. You know what's hilarious about that for news? In case it was a penal colony where they sent all the bad people from Britain to Australia. So you have some, like, you know, roughnecks down there. Just kidding. It was a while ago. A couple hundred years ago. They're not all criminals. They were dissidents, political dissidents as well, were sent there. So, you know, got some free thinkers, Christians. I don't know if Christians were sent there or not, but anyways. I know that after World War II, Brits were given land in Australia because one of our dear friends, Edna, she died like almost 100 years old. Her stepfather was in the British Army, and he was given a station, a sheep station in Australia. So we know a lot about Australia from Edna. She told us so many stories, and I kind of feel like I've been there even though I haven't. I don't know why I got on that. We have a boomerang. We should bring out the boomerang every time we talk about Australia. We have a real literal boomerang brought from Australia. Edna gave it to us. We love that lady. She's not here anymore. I have an itch. I have like a fuzzy in my nose. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Let's see. Always believe in miracles. After we divide, posters, pundits, bookmarkers, climate change, catastrophists. Is that a word? And most, but not all, media pundits to return to the government benches on the back of a populist wave. It has been to all those Australians who have worked hard every day. They have their dreams. They have their aspirations to get a job, to get an apprenticeship, to start a business, Mate, to meet someone amazing, to start a family, to buy a home, to work hard and provide the best you can for your kids, to save for your retirement. These are quiet Australians who have won a great victory tonight. And this is Donald Trump's tweet. Did I show you guys this? Congratulations, a great win. Do. Come on down. Rise the populist movement. Donald Trump there. According to the White House, the two leaders reaffirmed the critical importance of the long-standing alliance and friendship between the United States and Australia in a phone call. G'day, mate. Calling the White House. And they pledged to continue their close cooperation on shared priorities. Trump's victory in 2016 was seen to be mirrored in Mr. Morrison's win. I showed you that clip. I think the Labour Party is going to win 80 seats. Well, y'all lost. That was just fun. It's okay to have fun. This is good, clean fun, y'all. You can make fun of them. It's fine. Because you know what? The Bible says that God laughs at the wicked. Ha, 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 ha. Ha. Ha, ha, ha. All right. And this is Justin Trudeau saying, congratulations, we'll work together. Canadian, Australians. Let's see. Former Prime Minister John Howard.
Full focus of Scott Morrison.
Greg, just hold on a second. I speak on behalf of the government. That is a matter for our magnificent Prime Minister. But it's very clear that Scott Morrison has waged an incredibly successful campaign. The indications so far are very promising, and I am so delighted about some of the individual results. I'm absolutely delighted that Peter Dutton has held his seat. I'm especially pleased about the strong performance
of the coalition in New South Wales and Queensland.
They called him the coalition.
But above all, I congratulate Scott Morrison. He took over in very difficult circumstances.
He took over.
And he's waged a relentless campaign. He's been direct, he's been clear, he's been cogent, and he's argued the case incredibly well. I am sorry about what happened to Tony Abbott. He's been a friend of mine for many years, and I grieve for his loss, and I salute the enormous contribution that Tony has made to public life in Australia. But it is, as he said in that very gracious concession speech, it is in the end a question of the direction of the country and the welfare of the Liberal Party, and I thank him for his service. But as I move around the country, I am warmed by the extraordinary performance of the coalition in Queensland. The results there indicate very, very strongly that when it comes to jobs, the coalition agenda is always more attractive. There's no doubt that the prevarication over the Adani coal mine had a big effect in Queensland, and it's a message to the nation that yes, sensible.
Who said Irish rebels? They were my ancestors. Britt Baza says in the 70s, Brits could go to Australia for £10 airfare and set up a business. So I wanted to read a couple of these.
Action on climate change.
Climate change. I think I almost have it.
Which destroys jobs, ruins industries, and denies the people of less fortunate countries access to energy is something that the Australian people will reject.
Mr. Howard, how does this compare to other great coalition victories?
Oh, that is for the experts to talk about, but it is not for me to declare.
Scott Morrison waged an incredibly successful campaign. That was pretty close. All right, guys. Benjamin Netanyahu. Today I spoke with the Australian Prime Minister. He informed me that he is considering officially recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. We're winning. We're winning. We're always winning. We're winning. And moving the Australian embassy to Jerusalem. I'm very thankful for this. We will continue to strengthen ties between Israel and, they called Viktor Orban an anti-Semite, but he is very close to Benjamin Netanyahu. Between Australia and Israel. So, Mr. Morrison is son of a policeman and an active member of a Sydney Pentecostal evangelical church. What church does he go to? I'm going to sign off. I got some stuff to do, but what church does he go to? Let's see. Which church? Horizon Church. Huh. My the Australian Pentecostal Church. Very interesting. What does it mean to be Pentecostal?
Welcome to Horizon Church. I'm so glad you've decided to find out more about us today.
Senior pastor's a chick.
My name is Alison Bonholm, and my
I guess
husband Brett and I are the pastors here at Horizon Church.
Feminist.
Our church is a Christ-centered, word-based, spirit-led church where every generation is welcomed and championed in life. We're located south of Sydney on Stapleton Avenue in Sutherland, just opposite Peace Park. We have loads of free street parking available close to our venue. And on Sundays, you can also use the large Sutherland Council car park, which is accessible from Belmont Street or
All right, so regular,
relevant to your life.
Regular old church. I get it. All right. Let's see. Let's get a taste of who Scott Morrison is, because I really don't know.
Scott Morrison has slammed so-called social media trolls who have taken aim at his Easter Sunday activities. 7 political correspondent Tim Lester is in Adelaide on the campaign trail with the Prime Minister. Tim, the PM's worship is at the centre of this controversy.
Controversy.
And it is, and these pictures, you'll recall them from just yesterday and this Easter Sunday service he attended at his local Pentecostal church. They were quite striking images because they show the Prime Minister deeply involved in the service, which obviously parishioners are at Pentecostals.
I can't even. It's such a controversy that he's singing songs and raising his hands and praising God. What a controversy!
Services like this, but Mr Morrison, you don't often see a Prime Minister so deeply involved in a service, so they were striking and telling about the Prime Minister's faith, and he spoke about the importance of the Pentecostal church in his local area in southern Sydney for he and his family. Now, some have taken to criticising him.
It basically means good, fun music at church. That's what Pentecostal means nowadays.
Stood by his faith, stood by him having the cameras there yesterday, and took to task those who'd mocked him, and so in that sense drew attention again to the images and again to his faith.
And where are the leaders campaigning tomorrow?
And we've just arrived 5 years commitment based out of...
I cannot believe this. Somebody goes to church and it's a controversy. I'll tell you about controversies. No kidding. All right, so we're signing off.
I'm sorry, I'm crying at the end.
Mm-hmm. You just missed it. Scott Morrison goes to like a Hillsong church, and it was a controversy because he that's what it's called.
It's not a controversy.
He lifted his hand and praised God during praise and worship.
You're kidding.
Nope, it was
no controversy at all. Zen Doctor says.
Miracle win. Hallelujah. We're on the march. We're on the progressive movement is going down. All right. So say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye, people. I really wanted to come in for the rest of the show, but I have to tell you, I lost sleep last night, and I'm happier than I've been in a long
Minister
time.
Scott Morrison started Sunday in church.
As much as I miss you guys, it was worth it for me.
Let me see.
A Prime Minister and serve in that capacity unless you're first a member for your local electorate. Voters had answered his prayers the day before, setting his Liberal Party-led Conservative coalition on course for enough seats to form a majority government. That's despite years of unfavourable polls and widely held expectations that the opposition Labour Party would win. Its leader, Bill...
yeah, I'm very happy with the result. I feel that the changes that Labor were proposing were rather radical.
Not overly stoked. Haven't really seen much pioneering efforts from ScoMo, so we sort of we're looking for a bit of change.
For ScoMo, after church, it was off to watch his team, the Cronulla Sharks, in a rugby league match.
So he's a Christian.
Group Chancellor Sebastian Kurz pulled the plug on his 18-month-old ruling coalition.
All right, okay.
All right, so the deck is, Barry wants to know how the deck is coming along. It is coming along. I do need to give you guys an update, but I'm kind of wanting just to wait until it's done and then just show it to you.
Right, so tell people about the bees.
Okay, so Andrew, our friend, brought over a queen, and we were able to steal a frame that had emerging baby bees and some bees and put it in the little nucleus that I had with the new queen, and they accepted her, and we got video of it.
How do you know?
How do we know they accepted her?
How do you know?
Because, and I asked that same question to Andrew, and he said they didn't start ripping her apart and stinging her. It was kind of like watching two dogs meet together and watching them sniff butts and smell each other versus fighting. He said, you'll just know. He's like, if they're not going to accept her, they're going to start ripping her apart, and they didn't. So that's fantastic. I'm really, really excited about that. And then he also brought me a little nuke, which I purchased from him. And it had a queen and a bunch of bees. And we combined that, and I'll tell you how we did that. We combined it with the hive that I had that was queenless.
So you got 2 queens.
So I did get 2 queens today. And we put that nuke at the bottom. Well, we transferred it into my boxes and put newspaper in between. And so my hive and my bees that don't have a queen are at the top. His queen and bees are at the bottom. We cover the newspaper in sugar water with some essential oils. And then over the next week, they will eat through, and her pheromones, which they actually reproduce her pheromones. When there's a queen in the hive, they kind of let everybody know there's a queen in the hive and it's great and here's what it smells like. So those pheromones will go through the newspaper, and it gives them a time to acclimate to, okay, now it's like joining a family. Everybody's got to figure out whose bedroom gets whose and how we're going to get along and that sort of thing. So they're good. And then in my other colony, 2 colonies that I did a split on, there was 1 and now I split it into 2. We're just going to have to wait and see how they do with their little queen cell that they were repairing. And
I
then
think you should make a video on.
I really should do a video on it all. I'm
very
excited about this. This is my face. This morning my face was, I can't even do the face.
Well,
I was
yesterday
very depressed.
was really bad. I was like, Matt's having a hard time mowing. Well, I'd rather have a hard time mowing than what I'm going through right now.
I did say that. But now I'm all is well, and I'm really happy, and I'm super excited. So now, technically, if they all take, we will have gone from having 2 hives, one which was queenless, and one that was getting ready to swarm and huge, to 4.
All right.
Awesome. So they asked for a song. Do you have a song?
Well, I think we've gone too late. I got to go do another pet visit. We promised. Maia asked what was the song?
Oh, that's right. Was it In Christ Alone?
In Christ Alone. Yeah, we're gonna sing that one our next show. We will
Yes.
do that. We will definitely do it. But you got lots of me today.
Lots of Leah.
Lots of fun.
Lovely Leah with your pretty earrings and your matching.
Mom got me these earrings.
Your matching shirt.
I am in Nigel Farage's Brexit Party colors.
Yeah, they're blue.
I know, you have it on your eyes. All right, so
that's because when I was all dressed up to do the show.
Yeah.
And I had a blue shirt on, and I did my
You
makeup,
did too?
and I had my hair
On
down.
purpose?
Yeah, well,
For
not
Brexit?
but it was good. Maybe I'll wear it next time. But anyhow, and then my friend Andrew says it's getting ready to rain. We got to do this now, and so I changed really fast and put my hair up. And Michelle, sing "Bluebirds Over White Cliffs of Dover." We're American. I don't know that one, but we can look it up. Send it to me.
All right, guys. So we have a P.O. box. You want to send us your letters. We love getting letters. We love getting rural mail. It's always fun. 107 45150 Milford, Ohio. Like us on Facebook for as long as we're there. Follow us on Twitter. Twitter actually has more freedom of speech. I've found that on Twitter, as long as you don't go and attack other people, you're usually safe.
Speaking of platforms, did you show them Jay's thing?
No, we'll just have to make a whole video on Jay's
All right, we'll
thing.
just do. All right, so our friend Jay that helps us with all this stuff, he's getting with people and investors, and he needs investment. So you guys I'm gonna show you how you can do that, and donate and things like that to start up an alternate. It's called the Patriot Channel. So I'm really, really excited about that. All right, we love you guys. God loves you. God bless. And we will see you back later this week. I'm going to do a Bible study and maybe some other videos in between because there's a lot going on. Bye, guys.
I was cold all alone. No place for home every day. So afraid. But you called my name.